Hi, I'm Pete Bauman with South Dakota State University. I'm the range field specialist out of Watertown, South Dakota. With me today is Jeff Hemenway with the Natural Resources Conservation Service. We've invited Jeff here today to run the rainfall simulator, give us an opportunity to understand a little bit more about soil health here in South Dakota, water infiltration, and how that impacts rangeland and cropland management.
Soils, and I get a kick out of this for the most part when I go around and talk to crowds, is that people typically are maybe farmers or homeowners, etc., and they really don't think too much about what's under their feet. Soils are mineral material, sand, silt, clay. We've got an organic fraction there, but half of that typically in most scenarios, especially if it's well managed, is pore space. Half of that pore space is either air and or water, depending on where we are. And beyond that, that's the really cool part about that is that we do have a lot of soil life. In other words, that soil flora and fauna is really diverse. Under some of our best managed situations, it can be a substantial amount of soil biology. When we start talking about soil biology, typically we're talking about either bacterial, fungal, but we could be talking about microorganisms within the insect life and or earthworms, etc., within that soil profile, creating soil pores. And between that soil pore creation and what we term as that aggregate stability is that life actually creates that matrix that we actually talk about that binds those soils together and actually helps with that water air interface within the soil itself. The biology we're seeing that are studied quite a bit is buscular mycorrhizal fungi. That mycorrhizal fungi, we do know something about the byproducts, that glycoprotein, glumalin associated. It's blown up green here in this depiction, typically brown in soils. Dr. Sarah Wright with ARS, she discovered that compound in 1996. So something's not really new, but we're still learning a lot about soil biology and understanding enough so that we know that, well, in most cases when we start talking about that functionality or soil health, more is a lot better within that functionality, and we know that we have to have that pore space. We need to have that aggregate stability to maintain that over time. From a plant standpoint, from a production standpoint, water cycling, it all kind of fits together within that system. So soil biology, extremely important. I think that when we start looking at, and we were talking about that earlier as we were coming over, I was listening to a presentation by Dr. Nichols, Chris Nichols out of ARS out of Mandan, North Dakota. She was talking about having maybe a couple tons of soil flora and fauna within a conventionally tilled system, and that sounds like a lot. Typically within that A horizon, or that plow layer, we might have 1,000 tons, 2 million pounds, 1,000 tons. So 2 tons is not a great deal. Under some range scenarios, because we have more within that system, it might be as great as 10 times that. And that's why that system, or in those range systems, really drive themselves without the added inputs that we see in crop systems.
For more information on the topics that we've covered here today, visit SDSU Extension at iGrow.org or visit the South Dakota Natural Resources Conservation Services website.